You are listening to Policybazaar.ae's The Policy Project. We've got you covered.
Hello and welcome to the Policy Project. I'm Sid, your host, and here to guide you through all things insurance. Today, we're tackling a topic that's fundamental to everyone: universal health coverage. Now, imagine a world where healthcare is accessible to all, regardless of income, status, or background. Universal health coverage aims to make that vision a reality. It's about building a healthcare system that's inclusive, affordable, and capable of protecting every individual from financial hardships. And to help us understand how this actually will work, and right now how it works, and why it matters, we brought a top expert in the field. Please welcome Toshita Chauhan. She's the business head, health insurance at Policybazaar.ae. Hey Toshita, welcome to the Policy Project.
Hi, Sid. Thank you so much.
All right, G. Ready to explain to our listeners what exactly are we going to be talking about today?
Yes.
All right. So, universal health insurance, like always, we're going to be starting off with the basics. How could you simplify the term universal health coverage for us?
So, universal health coverage basically means that all people have access to the full range of quality health services when they need it and where they need it without any financial hardships. So, in kind of a basic explanation, this is what we would call universal health coverage.
Okay. And how does the role of private insurance differ from public health program in advancing universal health coverage?
I mean, private healthcare obviously drives itself commercially, that it has to be commercially viable for all the providers in the supply chain to make the proposition viable. Whereas with public healthcare, the government is able to pool in certain funds and provide for the welfare of the people of that particular society. So, however, private healthcare kind of helps to establish a baseline, whether it is the minimum premiums or whether it is a certain kind of inclusion within their policy, or offering a kind of stepping up and creating a pool for a certain section of the population. So, like for example, if I give an example in the UAE, right, which is in the context that we are talking in, we have people earning an X salary versus a Y salary, whether that is low, high. So if I give you an example of Dubai, Dubai Health Authority kind of classifies two segments: people earning a salary below 4,000 dirham a month and above 4,000 dirhams a month. Anyone earning a salary below 4,000 dirhams a month, they have a certain segment of insurers, a certain list of insurance companies who kind of operate in a pool, who are able to provide health insurance to these kind of people. There is a certain set of coverage which is defined, which is a mandatory basic minimum amount of coverage that has to be given. The price per member is defined as well, whether that member has a pre-existing condition or a chronic condition, etc. Certain coverage has to be given, and the price cannot be increased beyond a certain point, because a certain section of the society earning below a certain monthly income will not be able to afford a plan or health insurance plan priced above a certain amount. And then kind of comes in the population who earn above 4,000 dirhams, where you have the flexibility of choosing from a basic plan to a more enhanced and comprehensive plan. So in this country, like, this is how private and public healthcare has kind of joined hands to provide affordable healthcare through health insurance to all sections of the society.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so what should consumers be aware of when navigating the fine print of health insurance policies to ensure that they have adequate coverage?
So, a few things that we advise consumers to look out for when they are buying health insurance coverage for themselves or their family. Assess your personal or your family's medical requirements. Are there any planned medical treatments that you have in the next 12 months? Do you foresee any prescriptions, etc., which are already there? Check out the waiting period in the policy for covering any of these conditions. Make sure your pre-existing conditions that you or your family may have are declared at the time of buying health insurance, so that you don't face any claim denials in the future. Ensure that your coverage for pre-existing starts from day one, if that's what you're looking at. If there are any waiting periods for any kind of pre-existing coverage, which could range from few number of days to certain number of months, make sure you're well aware of that. Uh, the other important thing I would suggest is, if you have any particular medical facility of preference that you currently are taking a treatment at, or you think that, if God forbid you were to have a medical emergency, this is the hospital you would like to go to, or this is the particular doctor that you would like to go to, make sure that network list is compatible with that particular hospital or clinic, because you can have plans which cover certain hospitals, you can have plans which don't cover certain hospitals. Um, so, just to give you a UAE context, an Aster hospital would be in a certain kind of a plan priced at a certain premium, whereas a Mediclinic or an American hospital would be priced at in a certain plan at a certain premium. So it's important to know that you're not just buying health insurance as a standard cover. It has a lot of variance, and it has a lot of different plans which kind of vary, and the pricing depends on that.
Understood. All right. Good to know. Okay, so the next question is, how do insurance companies or aggregators like Policybazaar.ae contribute to making healthcare more affordable and accessible for the average person? And also, what role can technology and digital platforms play in helping people access health insurance more easily?
Right. So I'll take this question up more from a digital and more from a policy bazaar point of
Yes,
view.
please.
Right.
Absolutely.
How do people find us? We're in the digital ecosystem. Typically, there is somebody most likely who's searching on the web for a certain kind of insurance, and then they see us, and then they kind of land onto our pages, right? So in case of this health insurance, and insurance as a product, the language, the terms that are used to kind of describe what is included, what is excluded, they are not very layman friendly. A lot of terms are kind of put in there which you or me, or somebody not from the insurance field may not understand. So what digital aggregators or digital players like Policy Bazaar, what we aim to do is, a first simplify what an insurance product is. So for example, in this case, what a health insurance product is, ask the customer very basic questions which they are able to answer without using a lot of insights. It's basically like, let's say, your gender, your date of birth, or your nationality, where do you live in,
Okay.
all the sort of questions that kind of we ask you on the journey of our quotation page somewhere have an impact on what kind of plan, an insurance plan, pricing, etc., that we would suggest for you, or the insurance company would kind of accept you as a risk in which plan. Once you do come on the quotation page, so you no longer are speaking to 10 insurance agents that, hey, I would like a quote, what do you need, can I give you, not filling out four or five printouts, sheets of paper giving some information. A quotation can be generated sitting at, in whichever part of the world, on a beach, in your bedroom, on your living room, in your office, while you're attending a meeting, on the side of, on your mobile window. And after answering a few questions, you kind of reach the quotation page. On the quotation page, we try and simplify terms, what an insurance plan pricing is, what does it include, what does it clearly not include, and you're able to make an informed choice that, hey, yes, this is, I think, what I would like. We go a step beyond that, is wherein we basically have an assistance model. We understand people would like to speak to someone when they're buying insurance, just because they want to be 100% sure that this is something kind of what they will buy, or this plan will cover this.
Right.
Or they're confused as to which plan kind of fits in their need. And that's where a Policy Bazaar advisor, an expert would kind of help you choose basis your personal situation the best plan that suits your budget, that suits your needs. So I think as a digital aggregator, we kind of simplify a how quick, how fast you can get an insurance quote without kind of filling
Right.
out multiple sheets of paper. B is once you have received the quote, how can you kind of take in that information in a very simple way without throwing financial jargons at you and words that you may not understand, writing it out very clearly what is covered, what is not covered. And C is then kind of letting you decide and make an informed decision. However, if there is any assistance required, we kind of plug in that gap. So that's I would say that's really what our objective here is, to kind of give you all the options and then let you decide which one kind of suits your needs.
Keeping it simple, basically.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. Finally, one last question. What are the most important factors individuals should consider when choosing a health insurance plan, especially in markets with abundant options like here?
Right. So again, health insurance, very important to have as a product. It kind of affects your personal life, right? Your mental peace, your
Correct.
family's mental peace. A few things to evaluate, which I mentioned previously. Again, it is your personal health. Where does it stand today? Any pre-existing conditions, anything in the family, that's kind of been there, which you need to be careful about. Waiting periods, day one coverage, a clear declaration of your current health conditions, right? Any ongoing treatments, you got to declare that. Hospital inclusion, which hospitals are covered, which hospitals are not covered. The other important thing to know is about co-payments and deductibles. So you may have certain plans which are priced lower but may have higher deductible or co-payments. These would be the basic things. Assess your sum insured is another thing that I would recommend. Is you have plans with a sum insured of 150,000 dirhams, and you can have plans with a sum insured of a million dirhams. Somewhere the
Right.
premium, again, what you're paying for it kind of is built into that, right? So do I really need a plan which covers 1 million dirhams for myself, or am I okay with a plan of 150,000 dirhams? Somewhere, again, like we say, when you really need insurance, that's when you don't get insurance. So a lot of people like to kind of have that peace of mind and say, hey, let me just pay an extra and go for the 1 million dirham sum insured rather than 150,000 sum insured, because if trouble does knock at my door, I don't want to be in a situation where I have to pay out of pocket.
Very true.
So again, completely dependent on your financial condition, on your current financial status, on your current medical condition. And yeah, at Policy Bazaar, we would help you kind of assess the best plans for yourselves.
Fantastic. All right. After that very insightful segment, well, let's move on to our next one. It's called Ask Away. All right, so here we take up FAQs by our customers and we respond to them with the help of our experts. Now, if you too are an inquisitive and curious learner like myself, and you've got questions about finance, about insurance, then just don't hesitate. Ask away. Slide into our DMs on Instagram, follow us on Policy Bazaar UAE, or reach out to us via any of the other social media channels, and we will try our best to answer your questions in the next episode. Today, however, we shall be taking up questions related to universal health coverage that we've received in our inbox. So, Toshita, ready with your answers for our Ask Aways?
Yes.
All right. So the first one, Mikhail wants to ask, how can governments and insurance companies collaborate to improve health coverage for underserved or marginalized population groups?
We covered this, a little bit at the start when we were speaking about how kind of private health insurance and governments can collaborate. So,
Yeah.
again, giving you an example in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi, health insurance has been mandatory. For the past few years that we've known, the employer is supposed to provide a mandatory health insurance to the employee and his dependents. In Dubai, the employer is mandatorily supposed to provide health insurance for the employees. We have also seen now that for the Northern Emirates, where no regulation existed up until now. From 1st of January, it has also become compulsory for the employers to have a health insurance cover for their employees. And everyone kind of needs to have health insurance in this country. What the country has kind of beautifully done is they've made it affordable by creating a certain kind of a pool of insurers who contribute towards certain section of the society earning below a certain monthly salary, and there is also a pool for the local UAE citizens.
True, it's for a good cause. All right. Next question is from Sangram, and he's asking, are there particular insurance products or add ons that help individuals manage rising healthcare costs, like chronic diseases or long term care?
So few basics of insurance is kind of for which applies to life insurance and health insurance is kind get health or life insurance when you are younger. You're meant to have lower, lesser pre-existing conditions. You're much healthier. Obviously, the more advanced that we get into our age, higher chances of developing more pre-existing conditions, etc. So we would advise people to kind of get a health insurance plan or a life insurance plan at a much younger age. That also, and keep the continuity of the plan, because then that also takes into account that if you may develop a pre-existing condition later on, that is covered. You're not paying additional loadings every year for it. The other thing I would say is there are certain critical illness covers that you could add on to your health insurance policy, that which kind of cover you for a certain coverage if you were to develop certain number of critical illnesses in the future. So you are already kind of paying a small premium towards it. Um, Obviously, hoping that you never want to use it. But if God forbid, you do develop any critical condition, critical illness, then this cover kind of kicks in, rather than when you're going to an insurance company saying, "Oh, I already have a critical illness, but I don't have insurance," and then they price you at a certain premium, right, which is almost equivalent to what you would claim.
Sangram, we hope you got your answer. Next up, Harun got question. Now, he's looking ahead and he's asking, what are the key trends or innovations that could transform how health insurance supports universal healthcare efforts?
So I hate to use it, but this is kind of the term for this year. I would say mostly it's health insurance again is working backwards on prevention and early detection, right? That's why a lot of health insurance plans are kind of giving you an option to take a free medical checkup, or
Right.
they want to encourage that, especially for people who are not making any sorts of claims, where you don't know what kind of going was internally going on in the body.
Correct.
I'd say the diseases are being detected earlier and more accurately at a certain,
Okay.
probably at a lower cost eventually for the health insurance companies and the sector, where you're able to kind of, detect, let's say, a breast cancer at stage 1 rather than stage 3, and, kind
Right.
of helping the patient there. The other thing, again, I come back to the UAE context, is we have a lot of expat population, whether that's from the Asian subcontinent or within the Middle East, right? The health insurance companies here are also able to kind of collaborate with their respective home country and the medical treatments back there. Uh,
Hmm.
in certain countries, the cost of medical treatments are much lower compared to UAE, making it
Okay.
more, affordable for the health insurance companies to pay out certain type of claims. Let's say if we take our examples as being Indians living in the UAE, we're also somewhere more
Right.
comfortable, kind of having an ecosystem back home with our families back home, or having a doctor who kind of looks and speaks, or our language, and we're more comfortable.
Correct.
And certain
Correct.
experts, also medical experts, can be in the field which are back in your home country. So I think a collaborative effort between between countries, between UAE and other countries where majority of the expat population comes from, that's going on to facilitate this.
Brilliant. Harun, thank you so much for that question. And uske saath, it is the end of this segment as well. But don't go just yet, because if you have any questions about finance or about insurance, then you just simply ask away. DM us on Instagram, follow us at Policybazaar.ae, or reach out to us via any of the other social media channels, and we'll try our best to answer your queries in the next episode. For now, a very, very, very happy Universal Health Coverage Day to all of you. And I hope we're fully up to date with our knowledge about it as well. We shall meet again in the next episode with more informative, with more insightful content along with our experts. Thank you so much, Toshita, for this conversation. Always a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Sid.
All the very best. And that's it for today's episode, everyone. See you in the next one. Take care and stay tuned.
You were listening to Policybazaar.ae's The Policy Project. We've got you covered.